Welcome. I'm Chief Meteorologist Garrett Tarver here at OU Nightly, and we're tracking some severe weather across the area. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning that includes portions of Cleveland County. It does include Norman. If we can kind of zoom in on Norman and see where this is at, we're looking at 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are the main threat right now. The hail is there, but it's just small. So this is the main area that we're watching down here. This is going to be from Goldsby over to Noble, so I-35 all the way from about basically Highway 9 all the way down into areas towards Washington. That's where we're watching for those stronger wind gusts right now. That's going to be moving to the northeast. So Scotty, could we check at, let's pull up velocity and see how that's looking, see where those wind gusts exactly are, because that's going to be our main threat with this right here. So there we go. There's some of those stronger wind gusts. That's where it's the lighter colors at. That's where we're going to be moving towards Norman within the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. So keeping an eye on this, make sure you're not outside because these winds can blow things around. It can blow down trees, blow down power lines, things like that. Again, this is the base severe, so don't be worried. Just know that there's some bad weather outside. You don't want to go outside right now. Just wait a little bit longer. There is a threat for some lightning in this as well, so stay indoors. Again, this is moving off to the northeast, so it's going to be in Norman momentarily. It's just south of Highway 9 right now from Riverwind Casino over there into Noble. Can we pull up reflectivity? I want to see how that hill looks and zoom in right here. So this is what we're watching as it gets closer. This is the main thing for Norman, okay? We've got some stuff out here along Highway 81, but that's going to stay off to the northwest of us. Again, this is what we've got right now. Not horrible, okay? But still, you want to be inside and wait for this to move on out of the way. Or do we have any updates or anything like that on? Okay, we're going to send it. Aiden, yes. Do we have any updates on this severe weather?
Yes, we just got some reports from the National Weather Service that we are going to be canceling the severe thunderstorm warning for Garvin County because that storm is weakening. So that is some good news if you are in Garvin County. The threat isn't over, but the storms are weakening, so still make sure you're staying inside. The rain's going to persist and winds are probably still going to be gusting pretty heavily. However, at this point, the hail threat is weakening as well as that tornado risk. So, Garrett.
Thanks, Aiden. Yeah, so we still have this threat for the next couple hours. Again, right now, the severe thunderstorm warning is out. How long is this out until? This is going to be out until 9:15. So we have a little bit longer to go. We have about 30 more minutes on this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is the main cell of this is what we're worried about right now is moving through Noble. So that's moving across Highway 77, getting closer to Highway 9. If you're over out at Lake Thunderbird or anywhere in Norman, be aware that we could have some strong damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. That's the main threat with this. We had some storms earlier that had tornadoes outside of Minco, Tuttle, Union City, but now we're just worried about the wind risk with this. Okay, so here's OU, the strongest stuff down here. Can we pause that real quick? I want to see how far north it's getting. So it's going to be just along Highway 9 down to the south. That's where the worst of it is. Here's OU right here. Here's Lindsay Street. Not super bad right now. Can we pull up? Let's see velocity. Let's see how those winds are looking right over OU's campus. Okay, so not horrible, but still gusty. It could be blowing some stuff around. Again, rain is going to be really, really heavy, especially the further south you go on 77. It's probably getting a little muddy as well along Highway or along I-35 as well towards River and Casino down into Goldsby. But yeah, this is what we're watching. Again, we got 30 more minutes of this warning. So just sit tight. If you're outside, go indoors. I mean, we're on the north side of the storm, so you're not going to be able to see anything cool anyways. You're going to feel some cold air blowing in, and that's pretty much all we're looking at with this 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Okay, no, not a big hail threat with this right now, so you don't freak out. Don't go move your car. It's not a big concern, but that could change as we get into the next several hours as more storms could move through. Could we zoom out? Let's see what this complex of storms is looking like. We had that one that's moving through Chandler now. That came all the way from Minco. That was the one that was a confirmed tornado. But now we got this line kind of forming all the way down I-35, splitting off towards I-44 from Lawton into Oklahoma City. There we go. So some more warnings down into the DFW metro. But for us up here, we've got the one in Cleveland County over into McLean, Grady County as well. But Garvin County kind of touching it too. So send it. Aiden, I think we've got another update on that. I'll go ahead and send it to you.
Yeah, Garrett. Well, we do want to check in on some of the videos that we've got sent from viewers earlier today because of that tornado warning that Garrett was talking about. This is one of the tornadoes that was near the Brahms Farm just outside of Tuttle, Oklahoma. This was at 6:33 this morning, sent from one of our viewers, but you can just see the rotation in that storm right there. These people were safe in a great distance from the storm, but you can just tell like the atmosphere is perfectly ripened for storms this evening. And mostly as that threat continues to shift to the east, we're still tracking obviously everything in Norman, but you can just tell that the atmosphere is in perfect conditions for storms like this to fire up. So the tornado threat is not over. That tornado watch is in place until 11 o'clock this evening. I do also want to pull up our live satellite and radar campus cam from south of campus on Highway 9 in Jenkins. You can just see all that rain coming down. It is pretty heavy. Look at that lightning out there just off to the south of campus. So these storms are continuing to move in. We'll get another look on our reflectivity here with Garrett on the wall if we can pull him back up.
Thanks, Aiden. Yeah, crazy lightning out there. Like I said, we can see it kind of striking everywhere. If you can see lightning, you can hear thunder, you're at a threat of being struck. So stay indoors. Don't mess with this lightning. Don't mess with the wind or anything like that. I mean, these can spin up tornadoes real quick. Not worried about it right here, but earlier we saw it over at the Brahms Farm. Hopefully everything's good over there. I'm ready to go get a burger. All right, Norman, Noble, that's where that severe threat is right now for us. So this warning goes all the way into Tuttle, but the most concerning part is right here in Norman. If we want to go ahead and zoom in and we'll check back on that wind. Again, wind was the biggest threat with this. 60-mile-an-hour winds. Maybe some small hail, but plenty of lightning with this heavy rain too. So if you're out on the roads, it's going to be ponding pretty quickly. So yeah, not looking too bad there. It's kind of moving over 77 from Noble up to Highway 9, getting close to western forks of Lake Thunderbird. So the state park over there, if anyone's camping, well, you're about to be woken up if you're already sleeping. Noble looking that's starting to move through. This is what we're going to be watching next over towards Amber, Chickasha, moving up along Highway 44, I-44, heading into, that's going to be into McLean County and eastern portions of Grady County. So keeping an eye on all these storms. We have plenty that are going to be moving through. Again, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That can blow stuff off. It can blow trees down. It can blow stuff through the window. So don't be trying to peek out the window. We've got live shots for you outside from the Weather Center cam and everything like that. So no need to go outside. Go ahead and stay away from the windows, indoors, until this goes away. I mean, we still have about, what is it? We have 25 minutes until this goes off. So 9:15, that's when the severe thunderstorm warning expires for us. It could be extended depending on the storms out behind it. We could kind of see a little bit more hail out here just outside of Amber along I-44. Could we look at hail on this? Can we get a hail track on here? Kind of see what that's looking like, because it wasn't looking too bad for us, but we can start to see some pop up outside. That's going to be outside of Cole, I think, outside of Cole. And then there's the higher hail. That's from earlier, from Anadarko up to Minco in Union City. So again, winds, that's all we're looking at right now. Nothing too concerning as far as hail and that tornado threat. The tornado that was earlier outside of Oklahoma City, that's now moving off along I-44 outside of Chandler. Do we have any other storms that are going to be popping up down to the south of here that could impact us? We can pull up reflectivity down there. It looks like everything's starting to move off to the east now. So looking good. We just got to stick with this a little bit longer. Aiden, do you have any updates or anything like that?
I do know that we have a live look outside with one of our OU Nightly meteorologists, Isaac Walters. I'm not sure if we're quite ready to take his live shot for you guys to see, but we will pull it up soon. But yeah, at this point, we're pretty much just waiting for these storms to move through. We'll see if they intensify or if they start to weaken. That's going to be the biggest thing going forward. I also want to send things over to OU Nightly meteorologist Parker Schrader. He's got to look at our radar too, so I'm going to let him do a breakdown really quick for you.
Again, we've kind of just been seeing that complex of storms that's just continuing to push off to the northeast, pretty much all the way across I-44. This is kind of riding right along that I-44 boundary, and this is going to kind of continue. And right now, those storms are not too strong, and they're not really all that impressive, really. Again, like we've been kind of mentioning, the main threats with these are just going to be some gusty winds. Right now, probably about around 50 to 60 miles per hour. So if you have anything outside, you definitely want to keep that locked down, make sure it's all secured. But otherwise, for the most part, it's just pretty much just some gusty winds, some lightning for sure. Definitely that's got to be something you got to be careful of. Lightning is dangerous. Do not forget about that. It's one of the more undersung parts of severe weather. So that's kind of what the main look is right now. But Aiden, I'll kind of go ahead and send it back to you.
Let's get one more live look again outside at our campus cam of the South Highway 9 in Jenkins. It's just off of Norman South Campus. And you can just see, again, all that rain and lightning. It is a pretty dramatic storm out there. Just check that out. We do have an OU Nightly meteorologist, Isaac Walters, outside right now with a live look of what's going on. Isaac, can you tell us where you're at and what's it like out there?
Yes, right now there's plenty of wind whipping around. You'll probably see my jacket is just blowing every which way. Plenty of lightning going on. We're under the parking garage protection here, so we are staying safe. We're right up next to the edge here, so we can see wind is blowing in some rain as well. That rain is at times blowing a little bit sideways with that wind whipping in plenty quick. Right now, with thunder coming every once in a while, a lot of cars in here as well. People are moving their cars into protection from that potential hail moving into the area. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio, reporting live. Isaac Walters, OU Nightly.
All right, thanks so much, Isaac. Yeah, it is a pretty dramatic event out there. The good news is we don't have any tornado warnings across the board for the Oklahoma City Metro right now. That was earlier this evening around 6:30 o'clock. 6:30 o'clock, yeah, 6:30. But right now we've got this severe thunderstorm warning that's still going to be ongoing for probably the next 20 minutes or so for us right now. So checking it out, it's moving towards the south or the northeast, excuse me. So Norman is just on the cusp of it, but you can see all of this rain down here. That's still coming towards us. So we are not out of the woods quite yet. Again, and also another severe thunderstorm warning. How long does this one down here go for us, guys?
The new one?
Yes, the one just south that includes Chickasha, Slaughterville.
We just had a new one issued till 10 p.m. here, including portions of Norman all the way up into the OKC Metro. But looking back here, it has.
Yeah, you can just see how big that system is.
We got that one goes till 9 p.m. So that one should be expiring
Grady
soon
County, okay.
down by Chickasha.
All right, so yeah, you can just tell that these storms are not over until 10 o'clock. We've still got an hour left of this event. And as these storms continue to track to the northeast, I'm honestly expecting a few more of these severe thunderstorm warnings to pick up. Can we see if there's any rotation in any of these with our shear rate or velocity?
Yep. Let's look at shear rate. There does appear to be some shear here and above Noble. Let's look at velocity.
Yeah, so like Isaac said earlier when he was out there in the parking garage, the winds are whipping every which direction. It's literally every time we see the green and red. It's really disorganized at this point, but the red means that the wind is blowing away from the radar and the green is it's coming towards. So when we start to see things develop and get a little tighter in such sort of a couplet situation, that's when we're like, okay, maybe that's a tornado. So that's how we diagnose that. But I did just hear from my producer that we have some questions about how long these storms are going to last. Norman, we're in the severe thunderstorm region for probably now until at least 10, 11 o'clock. The tornado watch is until 11 o'clock tonight, and that includes all of central Oklahoma. Norman's right in the center of that. So that's how long we're going to be tracking this event. But yeah, mostly these heavy bands of rain, they're in the red. So that's probably our biggest regions in between Norman and Noble over there, as well as Amber, it looks like. Yeah, if we can get a closer zoomed in view of this. Goolsby as well getting poured on right now. See, you can see Norman campus, we're still in the green as these storms move through. Everyone knows about the Norman bubble. We always miss out on some of these really big events. We're going to see how this goes tonight. But as for now, it's really skipping us and going off to our south, but still very much tracking to the northeast for us right now. Again, the good news is we're not seeing too much rotation in these storms. Do we have any hail reports on these at the moment, guys?
Let's see. Doesn't appear to be.
Hail swaths, yeah, it doesn't look like we've got much. If anything, very small, probably pea-size at the most. So that's some good news. Parking garages probably got a few more spots if you are concerned at this point, since we don't have that huge tornado threat. These just severe thunderstorm warnings. So if you still are worried about your car, it might be okay. But honestly, at this point, as we move through the rest of these storms, I would just let it be. Also, just see some of these heavier storms off to the east, or to the west, excuse me. It looks like they are dying. So Mingo, Union City, headed towards Mustang and Tuttle. Looks like those storms are going to be dying as the next couple of minutes go by. So that's some good news with that one. They are on just the cusp of that severe thunderstorm warning right over there. But again, these storms moving through Chickasha and Amber, I feel like those ones are probably getting most of the energy from those storms. They kind of suck in together, and one storm steals the energy from the other one. So that's pretty much what's happening there. Can we get a wider view of the storms coming up? How much is left?
Doesn't appear to be much southwest of Chickasha. It looks to be all kind of south of Pauls Valley, more towards just our south. So these storms are kind of tracking northeast, roughly 25 miles per hour. So they're not really looking to be any more in the path coming here towards Norman. They all seem to be on that southern track going east, northeast. So the only storms really impacting Norman right now are the ones that we're under right now.
Yep, and we've still got this storm up here in the, what area is that? I can't see it with our banner. This is the storm that produced the tornado earlier this afternoon that we had that video from one of our Facebook viewers. And it looks like it's still got some rotation in there from that tornado earlier, but just some very strong winds with that. So the good news is it's hooking, but it's not producing the rotation enough just to develop that tornado. But as the good news is it's pushing off to the east. So pretty much it's just these severe thunderstorm warnings that we've got for us here in Norman. Again, like Scotty just said, a lot of those storms are pushing to the south of us. Again, that Norman bubble always in effect for us here on OU campus. But Pauls Valley really getting into the thick of it right there. And even further south, my goodness. Well, we're just going to be tracking those. Do we have any possibilities of severe warnings coming with those ones? Down in Ardmore, if anyone's traveling?
It doesn't look like they're really showing anything of hail or wind. Let's look at velocity. Just kind of fairly weak for velocity there. So looks to just be kind of those training rainstorms that we're seeing develop kind of just over these next couple of hours, which is good for the drought. We haven't had much rain, so if these can be persistent for a couple of inches and no severe threat, this is good for our drought right now here in Oklahoma, as we've been not much rainfall here for the last couple of weeks. So if these can train, kind of have that, might have some of that flooding threat trying to start there down in Ardmore, but doesn't look to be any of that severe threat as we kind of have with these storms here in the OKC metro right now, with 60-mile-per-hour winds and kind of like inch-sized hail max possible with these storms, but they kind of seem to be on that downtrend.
Yes, and the good news is behind all of these storms, you can see there's nothing off there to the southwest. So after this threat moves through, we are pretty much off the hook here in Norman. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning for Norman is till 9 o'clock, I believe, correct?
Yep.
And then the other one behind it, did that one get canceled? It looks like.
Yeah, looks like it. So it looks like the one down by Purcell actually just got a new warning.
Purcell for Grady and Garvin.
Yep, that's till 10 p.m. And then the one for OKC is till 10 p.m. So
10 p.m.
kind of have these new warnings issued, but they're till about 10 p.m.
Ours is 9:15.
9:15 for us here in Norman. So if you are on Norman campus, if you live off campus, that's when that threat is pretty much over. So we've got about 15 more minutes left with it. We've got an OU Nightly meteorologist outside right now with a live look at what's going on. How much lightning are we seeing out there, guys? How much rain? What's it looking like?
Yes, we're seeing plenty of rain. It's still kind of blowing on my back here. Right now, the wind is blowing in and from the parking garage here on Asp Avenue, right by the football stadium. Plenty of wind coming in. It's really just a mess. As you guys are seeing on radar inside there, a whole lot of messes going on. That 9 o'clock bell just went off here on campus, and really not much has changed in the last few minutes. Just a lot of wind, a lot of whipping rain inside as well. A few flashes of lightning here and there. I've actually kind of seen it die down just ever so slightly. As I say that, there's a pretty big flash of lightning right there behind me. I shouldn't have said anything, but I will say things have been pretty consistently the same as far as wind whipping in, rain coming in, plenty. So I would definitely be staying inside. I'm under the shelter right now, so we don't want to be getting outside in this. People are wisely have moved their cars into the parking garage here by the football stadium to avoid any chances of hail impacting those. And a nice rumble of thunder is happening there too in the background. So I'm going to send it back to you guys, but that's what's happening here on Asp Avenue.
All right, thanks, Isaac. Yeah, you can just tell we're about to send him inside because of that lightning out there. Definitely do not recommend being out right now. Everyone loves to watch a good thunderstorm, especially those Oklahomans who are used to this type of weather. It is springtime in Oklahoma, and you know what that means. Severe weather, lightning, tornadoes. The good news is the tornado threat has pretty much passed tornado watch until 11 o'clock this evening, but I am going to send things over to Scotty to get us another look at what our radar is developing and looking like. Scotty?
Yeah, that's right. We had this cell kind of looked like it kind of had a hook here west of Slaughterville, but it's kind of been on that downtrend. The rain, not even in those red, darker shades of colors, they're kind of weakening now, getting more of those greens and yellows. So definitely more of moderate rainfall, not that heavy rainfall that we were seeing come in. And then these storms over off to the west, they seem to be kind of weakening as well. Here in Tuttle and Chickasha, they came in with a kind of a punch earlier, but then now kind of just dying down and moving eastward kind of with this, so it doesn't look like the severe threat is going to be continuing on for very much longer. And then the cells here in Norman just to be some of that rain and lightning. So just definitely stay outside, stay away from outside and with that lightning and maybe some of those pea-sized hail, but right now it just looks to be more of that rain coming in and impacting the campus. And I'll toss it back over to Parker on the weather wall.
Yeah, thank you, Scotty. Yeah, so it's pretty much just it's kind of toned down for the most part when it comes to this sort of severe weather. You know, right now, again, we're just kind of seeing just a big swath of pretty much rain at this point. Again, there's still that threat for that lightning and a little bit of some of those gustier winds. The more dominant, I say, storm right now is definitely the one down by Purcell right here. This one's going to continue to track off to the northeast and off to Tecumseh and off to Shawnee, but that's going to probably start to continue to weaken as we kind of head throughout the night. As we kind of head into the night, we kind of build in a sort of a cap, which kind of helps to keep those storms a little bit at bay. And with some of those earlier storms, it'll probably ate up a little bit of the energy as well. So that's probably why a lot of these storms are just kind of struggling right now. They're not a lot of severe in terms of the hail, not as strong as we were thinking, as we had thought potentially right now. So that's good because we definitely had some big time hail up into the northern portions of the state with that one cell that was way off there and off behind the banner. But at this point right now here in Norman, we're pretty much just looking at lightning and gusty winds, so that's definitely much better than the hail and the tornadoes. We'll definitely take that any day of the week, but otherwise it's pretty much just gusty right now. I guess we could take a little bit of the velocity right now. What we kind of got with that, yeah, pretty much just kind of, we do got some you know, outflow kind of coming from those storms. Again, that's going to help to increase that sort of wind threat with that, but no sort of rotation right now with any of these sort of storms. But otherwise, it's just kind of just probably some gusts up into the 50 to 60 mile per hour range. A little bit of some hail here down by Slaughterville and a little bit of Purcell. So that storm has kind of upped its strength a little bit. We do have some stuff down here, but that was probably a little bit of a go, not seeing too much there. But yeah, pretty much this cell right here, south of Purcell, like Hayden was kind of saying, that the Norman bubble is really taking into effect right now. The heavier stuff is down to our southeast, with those storms out by Purcell. A little bit further to our west here with the Tuttle storms out here. Those are going to continue to track off to the northeast. So right now, Norman just kind of getting some light showers. So we'll need it. We'll definitely take it, but that's not going to really help too much with our drought in terms of the rainfall amount. It's going to be pretty light here in Norman. But again, main threats are just going to be, again, just those lightning, kind of the severe winds as well. So really nothing too crazy right now. I do kind of want to see, just kind of maybe zoom out a little bit here in terms of like what kind of the whole scale's looking like, if anything else starting to build up. Really, again, that's just that southern portions of the state is really kind of starting to see that uptick. You got a big line almost all the way down into Texas right now. It's going to kind of continue to march off to the east. So really the main threats are going to be kind of east of I-35 as we kind of head into the later portions of the afternoon or sorry, into the night rather. And that's going to be, again, with those main threats as we kind of head further east. If we're kind of off to our friends, let's say from McAllister, anywhere east of I-35, we're going to be seeing more threats for wind. Severe winds are going to be the main threats. Maybe some embedded hail as well. And again, that tornado threat is still there, but for here in Norman, that tornado threat is slowly starting to diminish as most of those storms are pretty much just little tiny clusters. So we're not expecting much of a tornado threat as we continue to move on out of here. By around 10 o'clock, probably these storms are going to be pretty much out of Norman. So we're going to be pretty much storm free. Once these storms move out, we're going to be done for the most part when it comes to our severe weather here in Norman. But again, our friends off to the east, we'll start to kind of see some of those rain and showers start to continue over the next few hours. And we can see some gusty winds as well. So otherwise, nothing too crazy. I'm kind of curious about this storm up here a little bit off to the north. We'll kind of just pan up here and just kind of see what it's doing. This guy right here has been this guy started out all the way in Canadian County and starting to already almost move up into well past us with almost up into Tulsa as it's starting to kind of move off there. Nothing too crazy velocity. Well, again, you can see, look at this guy. This guy's been trying to rotate for almost hours and hours, but it's still pretty much been struggling to kind of continue to do that. So that's good for that because we did get a couple tornadoes like we showed you earlier, and the hail is starting to kind of diminish as well. This has been a pretty significant hail producer as well as it kind of marched its way off to the northeast. So that's good for that storm. But that definitely has been a storm that has been dominating the atmosphere over the last few hours. But again, kind of panning it back down to here in Norman. It's just really, for the most part, just rain. That Purcell storm is definitely trying to take advantage right now. It's definitely one of the more dominant storms that we have right now when it comes to our severe threat. But again, that is for southern portions of Cleveland County, and that's going to kind of continue to march off to the east into Seminole and Pottawatomie counties eventually, and that's going to just be mainly what's kind of the severe. What are kind of the threats for that? I'm assuming probably about hail, probably a quarter size, and maybe probably gusts of 60.
Doesn't even have no hail to 60. It's just, or hail to 60. Boy, that'd be big.
Yeah, that'd be big.
Size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with that severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
So that
Ping
one
pong.
over Purcell, moving off to the northeast into southern Cleveland County, over into Potawatomi County, ping pong balls and 60-mile-an-hour winds. That'll send it through a windshield.
Yes,
send
if
it
you've
through a
got stuff
window.
outside right now, you're definitely going to want to make sure it's tied down, plants, everything, because even though these storms aren't as dangerous with the hail threat diminishing, that wind is still going to be blowing things around, people around. If I'm stepping outside, I'm going to be whipped. So make sure you're staying inside right now and waiting until these severe thunderstorm warnings are over. Parker.
Yeah, definitely. You want to stay inside because these storms are, again, like I said, that storm has definitely picked up. So ping pong will that'll definitely do some damage when it comes to any cars or anything like that, and with roofs as well. So definitely, make sure to put in your cars inside if you do have any cars outside, and definitely anything outdoors. I want to make sure to bring that inside because this storm is going to continue to make its way off to the northeast as we kind of head up towards more Shawnee. We're actually starting to even see some more storms starting to develop a little bit along there, around just to the north of that little sort of leading edge of that storm, just kind of to the southwest of Shawnee. So that's going to kind of bring in a little bit of some heavier rains over there into Potawatomi County. So that's going to be kind of some good for them. But again, we do have some of these storms that are starting to continue to develop as they kind of head off to the northeast, up into more Oklahoma City. I know we had a lot of stuff going on for Oklahoma City, but right now that threat not looking as scary as we had earlier with that tornado warning that moved off into the eastern portions, as that tornado warning moved off into the eastern portions of Oklahoma City. Right now, just kind of going to be some gusty winds with these storms. They kind of continue off to the northeast, so not looking like a tornado threat as likely. It's very much on the lower end, so that's good. And that hail threat has also kind of come down quite a bit. I mean, again, we're only kind of seeing some little tiny small spots of little hail right here just to the east of Slaughterville. So really, nothing too crazy. Norman, pretty much clear right now, so that's good. And velocity right now, at least no rotation. That's always good. Hey, it's March, so it's severe weather season, so we can definitely get these little spin-up tornadoes, and we're always kind of watching. Especially here in Norman, we've had quite a few spin-up tornadoes over the last few years. So right now, nothing too crazy. Just kind of curious about that little kind of thing in my Slaughterville. I don't really think it's too much of anything right there. It just kind of looks, just kind of some. We got some inflow and some outflow, mainly dominant coming from that, as that's coming away from the storm there. So nothing too crazy when it comes to that. Hail's actually kind of picked up a little bit here in the Slaughterville storms, kind of filling up a little bit. We're starting to get a little bit more hail out of this storm. So this storm is definitely trying to get, at least a little bit more organized. It's probably trying to tap into some more of the energy that's kind of left over along this portion of the state. So that's something we'll have to kind of just. This will be kind of for our friends off to the east. This is going to kind of more off into Tribby, off to a little bit to we got some storm, that's going to be south of Purcell. Going to probably just clip a little bit of southern portions of Slaughterville, so not really expecting any sort of impacts there, and that's going to continue to move off to more to the Tecumseh, Pink regions as we kind of head further northeast. And right now, kind of looking back in Norman, I mean, we're not seeing a lot of rain at all. It's almost all gone. That storm is pretty much dwindling right now, especially with these. We do have some a little bit of some extra development down a little bit to the southwest here of Norman, but nothing too crazy. Just probably going to be a little bit of some gusty winds, maybe with that, a little some lightning. Definitely, that's going to be the main show. I don't know if we still have our. Oh yes, Aiden, you got some?
Yeah, let's definitely take a look at our campus cam outside right now. If we can pull up our live look at the moment just to see what the rain and hail is looking like. We brought our OU Nightly meteorologist from outside insides, but you can see that lightning is still a threat outside on campus. So make sure you are staying inside. I know it's Tuesday, people have things going on, but now is not the time to be outside. We also got an image earlier from the storm. It was a beautiful lightning strike. We'll get it pulled up for you if we can. But yeah, you can just see that threat is still ongoing. Even though these storms look to be weakening and we're just on a severe thunderstorm warning at this time, it is not a great time to be outside.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And it was still hail threat, not in Norman right now, but we could still get some strong winds from that storm in Purcell. It'll blow winds out across the ground and blow right into Norman. So that wind threat, not over for us. We still have about 2 minutes, a minute and a half left on that warning. But Parker, how's it looking?
Yeah, no, that threat is still going to be continuing when it comes to your wind. Like he said, with that storm, we're going to kind of see that as that especially starts to strengthen, that downdraft from that storm, it's the air coming out, it's that rain-cooled air that's going to kind of continue to push out ahead of the storm and out on the north side of that storm as well. So Norman's just been kind of windy, so that's going to be kind of like, we've been kind of repeating it, but it's kind of the main thing is wind is going to be the big thing, and especially as this storm continues to strengthen, that's going to be something that might actually begin to increase with that as those outflow winds a little bit. And we are seeing a little bit more of some, strengthening of these cells, but again, nothing really too crazy with those. It's just mainly just some, for the most part, just some increase of the rainfall rate. So hey, we'll take some more rain, but otherwise nothing too crazy. And again, not seeing anything crazy. Again, we do have, you can see right here, actually right here, that's the outflow from that sort of storm. So this is a very much outflow dominant sort of storm. So that's going to decrease, more tornado threat for that. So that's good. And as of right now, we do have a lot of storms that are kind of competing. We kind of go back to reflectivity. We got a lot of storms that are kind of competing with this sort of inflow for this storm. You can see down to our south, we do have a little bit more some scattered showers down there along I-35 South. And that's going to kind of what impedes a little bit of this severe weather threat for this storm, at least when it comes to the tornado threat. So that'll be good for our friends off to the south, southeast and off to the northeast with Tecumseh and Shawnee. And yeah, this storm is definitely trying to hang on. I don't know if there's a little bit of some pink there, right there, just to the northeast of Slaughterville. Yeah, I mean, heck, that that hail's definitely coming up a little bit more. It's definitely trying to at least strengthen a little bit. So that hail threat is starting to kind of come up. I don't know what we're seeing hail size at all. I don't know if it's increased at all. I don't know if there's any sort of increase on that. I assume it's probably still sticking around probably quarter size, probably at most golf ball, but probably quarter size, I'm assuming, with this storm for the most part. I don't know if you guys got anything
on that warning.
Still ping pong? Okay. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. Didn't figure it would be anything too crazy just yet, but that's something we're still kind of looking. That's the obviously to our southeast, so not here for Norman, but that's still something we're kind of monitoring. So if you are traveling, which you probably shouldn't be traveling right now, but if you are, definitely want to keep an eye on that. So if you're going down south, so Slaughterville, so you got some at least ping pong ball size hail and some 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's definitely the best and biggest storm right now for the good portions of the central part of the state. This is going to be actually impacting just a little bit south of Lake Thunderbird, so I'm not going to be expecting, there's that pink right there. It's coming pretty good right now. And that probably does help that we're pretty close to the radar, so it's scanning up a little bit higher up, especially with this, how close it is. It's going to be scanning a little higher, so we're going to probably get a little bit of some higher reflectivity values coming from this storm. So pretty decent little swath. So that's definitely, just to the southeast of Lake Thunderbird. So if you got anybody living out here along southeastern portions of Lake Thunderbird along Highway 9 here, definitely want to, make sure you bring in any of those cars, because that's going to be some at least ping pong ball size hail right now. So not expecting any sort of massive increase when it comes to this hail, but that's for the most part going to be down there. So, but Aiden, you got something?
Yeah, we just want to get that live look, or not the live look, excuse me, the picture we got pulled from earlier, just of the massive lightning strike across campus. This is just above the towers, and you can just see this is the powerfulness of storms this time of year. In spring in Oklahoma, even though we didn't get a tornado warning for us here in Norman, things like this can still be a big danger for students across campus, faculty, anyone around the area. So this is why we do always advise people to stay inside during severe thunderstorm warnings, even if it is not a tornado warning. But I'm going to send things over to Scotty Allen on the wall for one last look at our radar and to see how long this threat's going to last and when we are going to be in the clear, Scotty.
Yeah, that's right. We have the severe thunderstorm warning here down in Purcell, heading towards Slaughterville and east into Potawatomi County. But these storms out here off to the west are kind of going to just be these spotty showers, heavier rain bands possible. But after that, there's nothing. There's nothing behind these storms, so they might continue to train and have all of that, but the severe threat is going to be on the down end because of just the outflow from this strong storm here in Purcell, all of the cluster of storms here. That's going to be weakening the potential environment for these storms to come in. So it's just going to be that rain and that drought relief that we much need here in central Oklahoma, and not enough to have any flooding concerns, as it's just going to be some light spotty showers, but these should not be increasing into a thunderstorm, maybe some spotty gusty winds, and some spotty hail, but nothing to the severe. I'm not expecting that right now, as they're just kind of in this environment west of where the severe thunderstorms are. So these should be pushing off and not impacting Norman, just some spotty showers. Watch out for some winds. So definitely don't go out and about on campus. And back to Aiden and Garrett at the desk.
Thank you, Scotty. Yes, we've been tracking these storms for a while from when a tornado warning was issued outside of Oklahoma City. We had a severe thunderstorm warning. Thankfully, all that is starting to be on the downside. So these storms are moving on out. We got a little bit of rain with it, but so far the wind's dying down. We don't have any hail or tornado threat or anything like that on OU's campus. Thank you for sticking with us. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Make sure to stick with your OU Campus Weather Authority for all things severe weather. We'll be here all spring. Y'all have a good one.